welcome to this new series that we are making that we like to call Mac vs. PC. In this series, we will be making videos comparing Macs to a similar spec PC. Now, since Apple and Tech World are generally constantly updating, we plan to have future episodes where we recompare computers that we already compared if there's been an impressive update that we believe that might tip the scales one way or the other. Now, we don't want to constantly make videos, so we're going to only do impressive changes, not something as simple as a 0.1 gigahertz processor speed bump or anything like that. So, basically we're going to do videos on comparing Macs and PCs, and we'll do future episodes if a new impressive, like a brand new design or brand new internals. Along those lines, we'll do future episodes. Also, these videos will be longer than our normal length videos. I'll try to keep them below 20-25 minutes, but most of them are going to be longer or right around that area, but there's just so much information, and I've got, because this is going to be personal to me too, and I know it's a touchy area, so I know I'm going to get tons of hate for it, but I'm sharing my opinion for those who have no clue or are wanting help deciding between a Mac and a PC. This is why I'm making this. And one last thing, or there's a few more things. There's a disclaimer in the description below. I want you to read it before you do any commenting, feedback, anything. I want you to read that before you do anything. So, because I don't want a whole bunch of hate, and because I know, like I said, it's a touchy subject. I don't want a bunch of hate. And last thing, before we get started, there's going to be annotations and links in the description to articles and videos on our site that will help, or hopefully help you understand better. Because I know there's going to be certain things that you don't fully understand, like I'm going to say ATX full tower case. Most people aren't going to have a clue what ATX form factor even means. This is why I'm going to put links in the description and annotations in certain areas, linking you to those help sections, because I want you to understand and be able to make the decision yourself, because I'm just giving you the information and my opinion in these series. Alright, so the next part of this video is going to be over visually. So I got to switch over to the computer, and it's going to be my voice most of the time, the rest of the way. So let me switch over, and hope you enjoy this, Eric. Alright, now that we have the notes and the introduction out of the way, let's get started. In this video, this episode, I'm going to compare a Mac Pro mid-2012 to a similarly spec'd custom-built PC. For the case of the PC, I chose a case that looks similar to the Mac Pro. It has the same brushed aluminium, if you pronounce it that way, look. I went with the Silverstone, sorry about pronunciation, Timgen series TJ11B-W black aluminum case. This case is an ATX full tower case. It sells for $579.99. All links are in the description, so if you decide to buy or build one of these choices, you can. Next is the motherboard. I chose the Asus Z9NA-D6C motherboard.
This is a dual LGA 1356 socket in an ATX form factor. It has 6 DDR3 slots and supports up to 192 gigabytes of 1600, 1333, or 1066 megahertz ECC memory, or RAM as it technically is called. It has one PCI Express Gen 3 X16 slot, two PCI Express Gen 3 X8 slots, and one PCI Express Gen 2 X8 slot, and one PCI Express Gen 2 X1 slot. It has two SATA 6 gigabits per second, or SATA revision 3, and four SATA 3 gigabits per second, or SATA revision 2. This sells for $269, also on Newegg. After that is the brains of the computer, the CPU. I'm going with two Intel Xeon E5-2430. Now, that doesn't tell you much, but this is the closest processor I could find to the one in the Mac Pro. It is based on Sandy Bridge LGA 1356 socket, same as the motherboard. You're going to have to get the same as the motherboard. It has 6 cores clocked at 2.2 gigahertz and will intelligently turbo boost up to 2.7 gigahertz, which each core will appear as 2 with hyperthreading, which this processor does support, and it has 15 megabytes of L3 cache. These cost $569.99 each. Fourth is the CPU coolers for the dual Xeons. Now, since they're Xeons and they're going to get hot, so you're going to have cooling. I chose the Noctua, sorry about pronunciation, NH-U9DX. This is a dual fan compatible cooler. It has a 120 millimeter and a 140 millimeter fan possible for maximum airflow to keep the CPUs cool. I got two of these. They cost $78.99 each. Now let's do RAM or memory. I went with 2 packs of Kingston 16 gigabit DDR3 SD RAM ECC registered RAM, clocked at 1333 megahertz. I went with 2 packs of Kingston because it's going to be video production, and video production tends to take up a lot. But you can get any kind, any amount, but you should get at least 4. That's the minimum that I would recommend, but to be safe, I would go with 8. So 8 is the sweet spot. You can edit with that, but the more, the better. At least in Adobe's creative suites. Now, let's go on to the graphics card. I chose the XFX Radeon HD 7870 GHz edition. This card comes with 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory and 1280 stream processors. You get one HDMI port, 2 mini display ports, 2 DVI, one is single link and the other is dual link. It also supports Crossfire, but do note that the motherboard doesn't support it, so you're not going to be able to use it. It goes for $219.99. Now, the power for the computer. I chose the Corsair HX series HX850. Now, this is an 850 watt power supply. It is modular, so you get a little bit better cable management. It's 80 plus gold certified, so you're going to get very good power consumption. It uses mostly only what it needs, what the computer requires. It supports SLI and Crossfire X. It costs $169.99. Second to last required item is the hard drive. I decided on the Western Digital WD Black 2 TB hard drive. This supports SATA 6 gigabits per second or version 3 and spins at 7200 RPM. It is one of the best consumer hard drives that I personally know of, but you may know of a better one, but in my opinion, this is the best one. It sells for $159.99. Now, the last required item is Windows. For this, I give you two options. You can choose between Windows 7 Professional for $299.99 or Windows 8 Professional for $139.99. Now, this is going to be a tough decision and it depends on personal preference. So, watch our video or read our article. But there is a link below that will help direct you to the help you're going to need on that. Last, here are some add-ons you might want to add to make it more like the Mac Pro, the things that you want on the Mac Pro that you don't typically get on a PC. You can get a StarTech FireWire PCI Express card for $72.99, a Asus PCIe-N53 wireless card for $39.99, an Intel EXP i9301CB or CTBLK Ethernet card, $29.99, and this last item you can get out of another computer or install one externally, but you just need it to install Windows. You technically can get any of these parts from another computer or anything. But basically, you're going to need a DVD drive to install Windows. Or if you have another computer, you can download Windows off that and then install it through a USB. But it's slightly harder, but you can do whatever you know. Or cheaper. It's cheaper that way, but you have to have another computer. So, I chose for this build an Asus DRW-24B1ST DVD burner for $20. So, the grand total for this whole build with all the add-ons comes to $3,479.85 with Windows 7 or $3,319.85 with Windows 8. So you're saving about $100 or so with Windows 8. Now, the Mac. I configured a Mac Pro on Apple's site with 2.4 gigahertz, 6-core Xeons, 32 gigabytes of memory, 2 terabytes hard drive, a 5870 1 gigabyte of graphics memory, and an optical drive. Grand total came to, without any extras, a whopping $4,849. Now, here comes the part, where I will get tons of hate. So, in my opinion, the PC won this round against the Mac. My reason is, one, look at the price. There's over a $1,300 savings with the PC. Also, look at the processor. If you look at Apple's website, you will see that the processor only has 12 megabytes of L3 cache. Not a big deal, but it does affect my decision for this video. Next is the hard drives. The Mac can only transfer at 3 gigabits per second, compared to the PC's ability to transfer at 6 gigabits per second. The difference can make a huge difference when you're transferring large files. It can be the difference between spending an hour transferring a several gigabit file to spending a whole day or so. So that affects my decision. Also, the graphics card. it is 2 generations old. In this PC, the PC one, okay, let me restart there. This graphics card is 2 generations old. You're paying more for something that is outdated. Even the PC is actually 1 generation old by now, because AMD is about to release the next generation. So why are you paying more for something you're getting old tech for? And the PC, you get 2 gigabytes of graphics memory. The more means the better quality you're going to get. So that frustrates me that you're getting older generation. Everything, really. You're getting older generation, but you're having to pay more. Okay, specs aside, let's look at the long run. The Mac still loses. The Mac, you can only upgrade the graphics, the hard drive, and the optical drive. Sure, you can change the CPU, but to what? Since the new Xeons run on a socket LGA 2011, not 1356, you're going to have to get a brand new motherboard. And also, Apple doesn't support this. Sure, you can, but they don't sell processors like they do their graphics card and all that. Also, they're not going to make a new motherboard just for this computer so you can run the LGA 2011. Also, you're limited by the length of the. You're limited on time because of the fact that you have limited upgrades. The Mac, or Apple in general, will only give out probably, I don't know, about 5 more years of upgrades for this. 5, 6 more years. So you're losing out in that. So, in conclusion, sorry about all the ranting and all that. I believe the PC, custom built PC, is going to be the winner here compared to the Mac. But if you want to pay the more for Apple and all that, go right ahead. I'm not saying you have to get Mac. I'm just trying to help those that have no clue what they're doing and want some idea. So, in this case, go with the PC. PC is going to be the cheaper and more cost effective, more bang for your buck than the Mac. But if you like Mac's operating system and you're willing to pay for that quality, the look, and everything, the simplicity, go right ahead. I'm just trying to help you out with cost effective and all that. The PC is the way to go. Alright, now before I make this video any longer, I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for watching, hope you found this helpful, and give us some feedback after you read that disclaimer first in the description below. Thanks for watching.